Oh, you're right. You're right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Valerie, would you call the roll?
Degner.
Here.
Kramer. Here. Martin. Here. And Stevens. And Wendell.
Present. Thank you. We have a quorum, Molly.
We do.
Okay, motion be in order to accept the agenda and stipulate additions.
I move that the agenda for tonight's meeting be approved as printed.
Moved by Ann,
Support.
worked hard, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, we got the meeting minutes of August 8th. What's the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Moved by John. Support. Worked hard, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We are now down to citizen time. Any citizen want to address the board? Mike, you know the procedure.
Yes, sir. Mike Bronzik, 22nd Michigan. Just want to touch on what was said at a meeting I couldn't be at a while ago, where Commissioner Winder, you said it best, in my opinion, that the trouble of the millage is not passing lives from within. I want to say it this way: from within is really the county board, except for John Degner. I'm going to go back a full year. Whatever is voted on by this board, he's the only one that stays consistent. He doesn't change his mind. Let me give you a few examples. Job cuts. He agreed to cut the jobs through attrition. District court complained they got their job. Prosecutor's office was going to be a job cut. They complained they got their job. Cut the maintenance job 4 hours a day, and now, when it comes right down to it, you're hiring outside as needed. Like an example, plumber. You cut the janitor's job 4 hours a day. Now she's getting paid overtime, and good for her. She can use the money. You keep it on the parks manager full-time when you admit it's a part-time position. Plus, you're not dealing with them in a timely manner for work that is not getting done that he is paid to do. There's no monies in it for the YMCA, but then there's money in it for the YMCA. You take ownership for what your decisions are, and do what you say you're going to do, but you're very inconsistent. These are just some of the examples that the taxpayers are looking at going, we're not going to vote a millage in. They can't properly handle the money they got now. I would ask this board to please vote against the hazardous waste that Niagara Worldwide is asking to be put into the township dump in Writing Township over there, the landfill. Please consider that. Don't let it go further than here. I have a name from a family who went to the park. It took them 4 days calling. I was hoping Joe would be here. No answer. No answer back to make reservations. He didn't want to come up. His wife came up and made a reservation. They got the site. They requested water. Got on the site. There was no water. Park office is closed. He won't be back. His family won't be back. But he gave me his name and number, so I'll give it to one of you tonight. Or for Joe, please tell me. As for the park manager, does he have a valid driver's license? Seeing he did get in trouble over in Menominee County. I'd like to know if the parks manager does have a license to be working in Dickinson County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Anyone else like to address the board?
I just want to let you guys know that we poured that slab on Thursday, I think it was. So the basketball court slab is all done. And if they're going to go ahead and get another one to do the other side, make sure that they place the hoop, like if you're looking at it from the road, place the hoop on the left side of it, because then you can add on to the right side of it, that you won't have to take out any trees if you're going to do a full court. But it's all done, it's all stripped, it's all ready to put the hoop on, so that should be all set.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to address the board? Seeing none, resolutions, legislation,
We have nothing tonight.
okay. Finance committee,
Number one, I move we approve the request to establish a departmental credit card application and authorize the chairman to sign the same.
moved by hand, there's support by comments.
Well, this is in the name of the prosecutor's office, so maybe you could speak about it, whether it's a new account and what the purpose of it is.
It is a new account. I think I'm maybe the only department head, and one of the only department heads that doesn't have a credit card. And I don't make that many purchases, but when I do, it's difficult. I either have to come borrow the county's credit card, or I have to work with someone that's willing to bill us and send us an invoice so that I can, so it just make it a little easier for me to be able to make purchases when I do make them, in accordance with the purchasing policy, of course. I contacted the bank and they said that all that was required was authorization by the board. So I drafted the letter and Diana looked it over,
And I see it's in an amount not to exceed
and
$5,000.
you can put any amount you want. I just had to come up with a number and I didn't know what a reasonable figure would be. So there's never going to be a balance on it, so you don't have to worry
And
about
lastly,
that.
are there any fees associated with this?
I'm sure there's a finance charge, but since it'll never carry a balance, you don't have to worry about that.
Go ahead.
What's your maximum expenditure if you had to go and borrow money from, or somebody else's credit card from another department? What would be your maximum expenditure?
Diana, do you happen to know what most of the other cards are at limit-wise?
Mine's at 5,000.
Is it 5,000 to 7,500?
5 is fine, I've never gone up to 5, but there are times when I'm training election stuff. Because if you don't use a credit card, then as a county official, then you have to pay taxes. And if you use somebody else's credit card, then you gotta pay them back with the taxes. So it is beneficial all the way around.
Any further comments?
These are expenditures in your budget.
Oh, yeah. For training and stuff and purchase.
Whatever.
Okay, any other comments from the board? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
I move we approve the distribution of second quarter PA2 funds to North Care Network in the amount of $13,890.
Moved by hand. Support by comments, questions. Roll call, please.
Dagner.
No.
Kramer.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Wender.
Motion carried. 895, Clark.
There's nothing tonight, sir.
Crystal Lake Water Park.
Nothing tonight.
Six County, Joe's, with no report. Planning and zoning, Barb.
We have the Dickinson County Conservation District meeting minutes of July 19th in the packet.
The DHS Community Services, Barb.
We have the Dixon meeting minutes of July 14th, and we also have the Dickinson County Community Collaborative meeting minutes of April 20th.
Okay, Board of Health is Joe's committee. We got the Board of Health meetings of July 27th for the record, North Point Dam.
The minutes of the July 28th meeting are in the packet.
Okay, Pinecrest, John.
I have no official report, but I would just like to say I've seen firsthand the quality of care that Pinecrest produces. We as a county-owned facility ought to be extremely proud of that facility. It is far above the rest of them I've been at.
Okay, equal, John.
Today we have Mr. Darren Dyack from the Environmental Health Director for a report on radon findings.
For those of you who don't know who I am environmental director at the local health department. I was asked to do an evaluation on the radon results that were taken within the courthouse. I had a chance to review those. I had a chance to go throughout the building and take a look at where the samples were taken. So I did sit back, took a look. Only 2 of the samples that were taken so far, in my opinion, were valuable really, because those were down in the basement where it's not being occupied. So I did make a recommendation to the board to take some more samples. Willing to do that, give the county the kits, and we're willing to do it for you, but that's a choice that you need to make, and we'll make it happen if you want us to do it for you. And I would recommend doing it probably in December, and we could do it over a break, Christmas break, or, you know, Tony else is down for a few days, so we could.
Okay, questions from the board?
Are you saying then that we want it when it's kind of like a quiet time?
Usually that's the best.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can make it happen, you know, like I say, if it's going to be over Christmas, we can do a 4-day test at that point in time.
So far, we've seen no high results to be concerned.
The 2 sample results that were taken in the office areas were very low. So right now, there'd be no concern at all.
Okay. Okay, board, do you want to follow this recommendation and have them take more?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we have him produce another study in December.
Moved by John. Support Barb. Further comment? Seeing none. All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Darren, thank you. You went above and beyond.
Okay, and I will, and if you'd like to get back with the board once those results come in, and I'll come back to the board meeting to go over and give you the recommendations if they've changed.
And you're going to follow through now. We don't have to be involved as far as when and where.
I'll take care of from here, and who would you like me to contact? I'm going to stay in contact with Diana? Okay, then I'll be in contact with her and make it happen for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Anything further, John?
K2 is, I move to approve decision of the August 15, 2016 motion by Commissioner Daniel, supported by Commissioner Kramer, to replace the compressor at the correctional center and advertise for bids.
Moved by John.
Support.
Support Ann. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And K3, I move to approve the train pact agreement number 000-33548, change order authorizing the removal or replacement of the train condenser unit servicing the southwest portion of the correctional center.
Moved by John. Support Barb. Okay, at first we moved to go out for bids. But then talking to Train, they can get us this unit for cost. So we'd save one middleman in the process by adding it to our original order with Train. Okay, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, just a clarification, that then puts that on the contract when they discuss it.
Yep. Okay, public safety, my committee, a motion being ordered to approve or to deny fiscal year 2017 secondary road patrol and traffic accident prevention program grant application, authorize the chairman to execute the same. What's your pleasure, board?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Moved by John. Support Barb. Comment?
I just want to know when this is due.
Sure, if you want to respond. When is the
grant request?
I believe it's a little beginning of September.
Okay, now, I talked to the sheriff today. He supplied us with about 15 pages of info. You want to give us a brief summary what this says?
The last couple pages are just the footnotes and where what I'm saying can be verified. There were some questions last year with the secondary road and what's mandatory, what's not mandatory. And
I think there's a little confusion as far as road patrol being mandated, not being mandated. And that's partially correct because the office of the sheriff is governed by two things, and that's Michigan Constitution and also the MCL, Michigan compiled laws. Under the Constitution, there are certain things that are mandated by to the sheriff and what he has to do. And one of them also involves the clerk, the prosecutor. They have to be elected. They have to have their office has to be in the county seat. There's a few other mandates. As far as the road patrol, what's mandated is not through the Michigan Constitution. It's mandated through one of the sections of the MCL, which covers about 300 different obligations, requirements, and restrictions put on the sheriff's office. One of them are patrolling roads, accident investigation, recovery of drowned bodies, upkeep of the jail, and that's just a synopsis of some of those mandates. You have to have an undersheriff. Your undersheriff has to be certified. Depending on the size of your county, you're mandated to have a chief deputy. So there's just some information reference that, particularly the question on the road patrol and the mandate of it.
We're mandated to have road patrol, but they don't mandate how much road patrol we need.
Don't mandate the hours.
No.
No, it's just that if there is no coverage, you're still required to answer the call.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Well, when we were at budget time last time, it was my understanding that specifically the secondary road patrol was not a mandated or required service of the sheriff's department. And we looked at it potentially for eliminating it as a cost-saving measure.
Right, and that's where the confusion is coming in, is like I tried to explain to the former controller, is that secondary road patrol is not a separate division from the sheriff's office. It's a function of the sheriff's office, is to patrol secondary roads. And by getting into the agreement that the board agreed to file the application tonight, you get reimbursed on it. If you say you don't want to apply for the grant, you don't have to apply for the grant. You're still going to be mandated to patrol certain roads. You're just not going to have the reimbursement.
I thought the secondary roads applied to certain roads in the county
It
and
does.
at certain times.
Well, secondary roads are your roads that aren't going through Iron Mountain, Kingsford, Norway. The M95s, the US 2s are primary. Your secondaries are your county roads and your back roads.
But right now, we have patrol that operates to like 3 a.m., is it?
No, we have 24 hours.
Because of the secondary road patrol.
No, just because of patrol overall. We're the only one. The state police does not have 24-hour coverage. So we're the only law enforcement outside the city limits that has 24-hour coverage.
If you didn't have secondary road patrol, what would our patrol of the roads look like
Same
without that?
Same as it does now. We're required to patrol secondary roads and investigate accidents on them. But by mandating or assigning 1 or 2 deputies a certain percentage of their patrol time to secondary road, we get reimbursed a certain amount.
Any further questions from the sheriff? Thank you, Sheriff. All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Excuse me. And will you handle the next one, Sheriff?
I move we approve the fiscal year 2017 to 2021 Cooperative Reimbursement Program Agreement with the State of Michigan for Child Support Services and authorize chairman to sign same.
Moved by Ann. Support? Support. Support, John. Further questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Parks Committee, Joe's Committee, Barb, you want to handle that tonight?
First of all, we are asked to accept the resignation of Brad Grable from the CUNY Lake Commission. Does that require a motion? Yes, I move that we accept with regret the resignation of Brad Grable from the CUNY Lake Commission.
Barb, support by John, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
And M2 are the CUNY Lake Commission meeting minutes for June 1st.
Okay, that's for the record. I'd just like to comment on Dale Ellis and Greenie and whatever helpers they had for the job they did at basketball courts, Lake Antoine Park. It looked beautiful, and without somebody coming forward, the grant would have been nowhere close to covering. It would have probably covered, well, it was less than half of what the bid was. So I'd like to publicly say thank you, Dale, on behalf of the board.
Sure.
Okay. Go on to the next one, Barb.
Okay, under M3, I move we approve the proposal by Milligan cutting and skidding for disbursement of logging proceeds.
Barb?
I'll support that.
Or Dan, questions, comments?
How did the property lines get so screwed up on this?
If you look in the back of the letter, you see the map. And if this guy wasn't honest, we wouldn't even know if he got timber on 2 or 3 acres of our property. And he prorated the stumpage that come off of that land, and he was going to give us a prorated share. So I think he was very honest. This is the same gentleman who cut the trees out at Lake Antoine Park a year ago. Any further comments or questions?
I would just like to make it noted that in the future, if somebody is cutting property next to county property, that they would check the line before they start cutting.
Okay, roll call please.
Kramer,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Wender,
Aye.
Degner.
Yes.
Motion carries. Airport committee, my committee, no report. Fair board, John.
Well, we have the Fair Board meeting minutes of July 26th for information, and it's here next week, so pray for good weather.
Okay, thank you, John. Library board, Ann.
The Dickinson County Library Board meeting minutes of August 9th are in the packet. And secondly, I move we approve the library board's request to levy .9 mills for the 2016 winter tax levy.
Moved by Ann, support by Barb. Comments?
Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to table this until we get some more information. They're sitting with a real healthy fund balance, and I think it's time, if we're going to be realistic about this and make decisions that are good for the taxpayers, we need to look at this and adjust that accordingly instead of just voting it in. I think we need to look at this seriously.
I think in the past, we recommend .85, some of us on the board. I, for one, voted against the .9. So, and got a motion and a support. I'm going to call for the question, John, and see where it goes. Please.
Degner,
No.
Kramer, Martin,
Yes.
Wender.
Aye, motion failed. Okay, you want to move on the other motion at this time, or wait?
I would just like to get some more information. I'd like to see what their fund balance and everything is, so that we can make a good decision on if they are sitting on that kind of fund balance. Maybe it's time that they really don't need that amount.
Okay. I would ask that Sonia gets more info. Get more info for the next meeting. Thank you. Employee Relations Commission, no report. Instruction for John.
I have no report tonight.
Bay West,
I have
John.
no report.
We are back to citizen time. Any citizen want to address the board?
Can we go back? Do you want to make a motion to table that? Or just table it?
I don't think we need a motion, it died first. Thank you, Darrell.
You're welcome.
Okay, we are down to citizen time. Any citizen want to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to the old business. And John, would you have number 9, please?
Okay, 9A, make the following appointments. Freeman Lake Commission, we have 2 3-year terms to expire 7/14/2019. We have one applicant, Sandra Adams. So I would move that we appoint Sandra Adams to the Freeman Lake Commission.
Moved by John.
Support.
Support and questions, comments, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Can I just make a point here that in the ad, we did have the partial term for Brad Grable, the one that resigned. It was in the ad that nobody found,
So,
there were
what are
actually-
we appointing with this
You're
motion?
appointing one of the 2-year terms, so there'll be one 3-year term left and a partial.
Okay. Well, I assume we'll re-advertise when we get more
Right.
ads to add to it, right? Dolly, you
Yes.
track that?
I keep track.
Okay, a motion in order to accept committee reports and correspondence and place on file.
So moved.
Moved by support and all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Controller, we have no controller at this point. Commissioner's privilege. Tom?
There's a request from the Norway senior citizens to have the tax levy that is levied on the taxpayers for senior centers to go to the Norway Center since they're no longer affiliated with DICSA. And they would put the request in, and that would come forward to us, and we would have the final say on that. That is the request that they're asking for. Otherwise, they're going to run into financial difficulty in the future there. So I'm just letting you know that there are some members here from the site council now, and they are wondering if that is possible to happen.
Okay, thank you, John. We'll address that when it comes up, right?
Right.
Anything further, John?
No.
Just one thing, I had the opportunity to meet Justice David Viviano, the Supreme Court Justice from the state of Michigan, and we had a question and answer session, and one of the things that came up was transportation of prisoners with mental health issues, which is a significant concern in terms of manpower and time for our department as well as the other departments that were represented in this conversation. And apparently by law, it's mandated that the prisoners with mental health issues must be transported by a law enforcement officer. That's the actual quote from the law. Talks to the police chief from Escanaba, and he was able to quote that. And maybe what we need to do is have some legislative action to see if we can't get that changed, because our sheriff's department, our police department, our law enforcement officers are not trained to handle mental health problems. And if the patient in the back of the car decides to, meds wear off or whatever, they have no capacity. They are not emergency medical services trained, and they are at risk, and so is the patient. So I'm going to say that I would like to see something, a resolution from this board coming forth, asking for a legislative change to allow emergency medical services to transport these patients. The sheriff's department gets no reimbursement. It's a 20 to 25-hour round trip to Saginaw or Detroit with these patients, unless we can get them into Marquette or Sault Ste. Marie.
I think the sheriff should address that.
So, Barb's absolutely correct, but there is something that we've been working on for about a year and a half now, and it is going through the process.
By we, you mean the Sheriff Association?
Sheriff's Association, chiefs of police, and also we've been in contact with Representative McCoon.
Good, well, if you need support from me, I'll be glad to write a letter personally, so I think it's really important. You're protected.
Anything further? I just want to say, glad to see Aaron back. His surgery was successful, and We missed you, Aaron. Glad you're back.
Thank you.
With that, motion to adjourn.
Turn on,
Oh, God.